Hey, it's nice to see you and say thank you for tuning in. I know it's really late over there, but it's time to start. So yesterday, my goal was to have the players reach the main menu, and I've started to integrate my buttons into my game instead of like be. Oh, I guess it's in the corner, which is kind of weird, but when you load the game now, you should see that nothing. See, oh, that it breaks. Grow pawn and base, not a sequential grow pawn in Node World GD. Somewhere along the lines, I broke this, and I don't remember where. But I'm ready to fix this. In pawn GD, get parent grow pawn. Oh, what did I? Like, what did I do? I remember the last time I was working in this world script, and I was adding the player as in say from the world instead of adding them directly from over here. And the same thing with this U win. This U win would place the buttons on the screen where they need it to be. But it looks like right now I have like this button that exists when it shouldn't, when it should not. And also looks like my UI changed to being a 2D. So I'm gonna see what's up with that before I move on to what I should be doing, which is again trying to get the players onto the main menu. This is this is kind of awkward. I should have ran the game before I started. I did not expect this at all. Prefab UI. Okay, over here my UI is still it's still green, a green circle, which is a control node, but over here it's not. I think so like yeah, I can see some weird stuff has happened. It now has like it says UI, but that's not what it is. It's a continue tile for some reason. My continue tile replaced my UI. That's probably one of the weird nuances with Godot, like one of the bugs. I'll just delete that and re-add my actual UI, and everything should work out just fine now. Yeah, so I have both players. They're being loaded in from elsewhere. They're no longer being added from over here, which is what I want to have. And later I'll have them added as the controllers get in. But for now, I can move them around. And when I go to have my players touch each other and win the game, a button appears. But a button only appears right now. The bug is a button only appears if there's available spaces. And I can press on them and I can see some debug information to let me know that I stepped on them. And my goal is to makes it so that you see all of the buttons. And to do that, level select tile, continue tile. I tried to place it a bunch of times, but you can see the main menu and the level select. They couldn't be placed because there was something already in that position. And I think what I'm going to do to clear that up is I'm going to clear the whole board before I start placing all of my menu stuff down, because there shouldn't be anything else up there, and you should be able to freely move on and off the buttons and in the whole space when the menu is up. That's going to be in my grid script. Also I have my phone perched up so that I can see the chat. I hope I'm not missing anything. I moved over to a new location because it's hard. It's like part of my job is to break it and then go back and fix it. what is it? Over here in the player, when the player, well, player touches another player, it checks, and then beforehand, oh, again, I keep breaking stuff. This keeps happening where like Godot will kind of freeze and hang up on whatever, and I have to click the exit button a bit and go do something else until it decides not to. I think it, you know what? So I've been learning more about how it processes and how the operating system works in on a computer in general. And one of the things that we talked about was that the scheduler could pretty much kick off any process it wanted to, and for some reason I think that's what's happening. Is I have something else running in the background that has higher priority than running this application, and I have to wait for it to give it back. Kind of sad. Kind of sad. But I can still like can I guess talk through my problem. Um, Here in the player, in like when I recognize that two players are touching each other, I can what I should do instead of emitting that as signal, I should clear the board first, and then let the signal appear, so that yeah, and let the signal appear. I may have to disable the animation so that it's not blinking all the time, but that's okay. Actually, yeah, I'm kind of concerned. Why is that blinking all the time? It might just be because I'm emitting that signal so many times that it's just blinking forever. Man, I'm looking for this right here to start moving, or like a prompt to come up. Sad. I guess like while I'm here, I can go and pull up the Godot docs. I feel like I'm gonna need them for the rest of this. Let's see, but after I clear the board and I start being able to place the menu buttons down where they need to be, I'll move on to making another signal that says, hey, when the player touches the main menu button that's in the world, it'll clear the board again and display the buttons for the main menu. And I feel like I set myself up really well from yesterday, because I started moving the code for instancing my objects outside of the grid script and into that world script, and eventually I'll move it from there to like possibly a JSON file that just has that same information. Oh, not code. Are we back? We're not back. uh, like the saying since we're not back, say have that same information like the grid. Say the where the put where what pawn it is and where it is on the grid. Maybe some color information. I know that the player specifically needs to know what the z-axis is on, so that it stays atop top of everything. So when it walks on, it's being drawn first, and the button is being drawn below it. But it's broken. I broke it. Hmm. How do my I wanna stop it by closing other programs and begging it to please give me back my stuff. Please. Please. This stinks. This happened yesterday also, which was kind of concerning. It happened twice, but not as long as this. I'll close everything. I'm sorry. Please give it back. Uh, I may keep Chrome open. I may. Dang it. I don't actually know how to, all from like the command prompt, close. Oh, look, it's ready. It's back to working as I say, hey, I'm gonna just close you from the command prompt. I just happen to listen. Cancel, don't do that. Okay, things are still running correctly. If I play the game, it should play. Yep, it plays without breaking. Happy. Ooh, I gotta find a way to keep my phone on the whole time I'm streaming. I know. Uh, it wasn't. I moved to this new location. If you can see that, I'm like, there's some pictures behind me. This is like a little desk and couch area for our peer advising leaders, and at night they're not here, so I'm kind of borrowing the space. It has, I think, the really good lighting that I don't have, so I don't have to like set up my light and like have it shine super bright in my face. You can. Did you? Okay. Watching that cursor circle to make sure my process is still going. I'm kind of scared of it like hanging up again. I haven't lost any information from it hanging up, but I have like lost a couple minutes of me getting things done. Um, yeah. So like I thought it'd be simple, and I was like, hey, let's just swap these two. I think I did this right at the end of the last stream. Like said, let's swap these two. Let's see what happens. I'm using Ubuntu 18.04, and man, has that been a ride. Say this originally used to be a Windows computer, but like as soon as I bought it, I immediately got rid of Windows because I already have Windows on my desktop, and as a student, I get Windows for free. I get a free key rather, so I can go and install it onto whatever else I want. Broken, yeah. So, why would you invalid type functions SLV cannot convert argument 1 from int to vector 2? Mm. And the int I'm gonna guess is, oh, yeah, meh. Cannot convert. Is it? Is it the way I'm? I think it's the way I'm calling this function. Get no, because get cell should return a tile. Uh, but I can't see what it returned. So I will put a breakpoint here. And I'll restart it, and I'll do the same thing, and actually go and check what that value is. So right here. Oh, we're just gonna go through all the tiles. This is gonna be hard to debug. It's just gonna be a lot of print messages. So, if tile does not equal players, hit it to open. Man, I just don't want to like walk through it like 15 times, 8 times to get where I need to. I just want to understand my logic, where my logic is going wrong at least. You honestly, yeah, and I wonder what tile this is, and I can't check it. Not here anyway. There has to be a better way. Can I? Yeah. The profile won't help. There are no visible errors. Script GDs like jump from there. Yeah, I'm clearing before I win. I wonder why it works the other way around, but not this way. That's kind of odd, also. What am I missing in my for loop? I'll print out X and Y at this point before. Yeah. I wonder if that'll work. I wonder if a print will work this way. Let's go in. There we go. So now I can go and look. So at 1 2 at is where it's getting that error. It's saying, hey, cannot convert argument 1 in integer into vector 2. Why would get cell and it's like why would get cell v return a return that? I also want to check that too. Now that I know where it's at cell 1 2, which is going to be 0 1 and then 0 1 2 right here, it's not giving any values for that. Hey, hey Todd, I haven't seen you in a while. uh 2 1 and this grid, it's in the tile map, isn't it? Get cell v. I'm gonna see what types of things it can return. It does return an integer. Returns tile index of the cell being given by vec2 if no tile exists. Am I using the wrong function? I thought yeah, I wanted to give me like an enum value, so because that corresponds with the enum values up here. That was supposed to be the first thing I was supposed to take care of, but I immediately wanted to solve the problem that I was having before. Ah. Yeah. Yeah. Exists. Set cell v takes a position. Why was this working before? This is weird because since tile is a integer, that like I guess that doesn't kind of bother me. That just means I was being messed up in the first place. Vector 2 and or like I guess it technically wasn't working this whole time. And it never actually got to clear. Interesting. So yeah, instead of I should be setting it at a position. I should be setting a position to an integer. There we go. So that was the problem there with that logic. Well, as soon as I run it and it clears everything. Yes, yes, it cleared everything, and now I can go and walk on these. I can see here at the bottom that they're showing up. I put some debug messages when the player walks on them. Yeah, you still can't go to the outside edge, but other than that, we're doing good. Okay, now I can move on to what that was the second thing I wanted to take care of, and I got that done first. Look at me. The next thing was a bad programming practice that I wanted to fix. I have this enum tile type player in 3 separate scripts, and if I was to add a new tile type, I would have to make sure that all 3 of those scripts had the same tile type and the same enums in here. If I keep adding more files that need it, I'll just end up forgetting 4 files or 5 files down the line, like, oh, this is breaking, and I'll spend some time on it, trying to figure out where it's breaking, and then I'll figure out it's because I didn't make sure that they all had the same type. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna put this inside of my globals. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it inside of my globals, and I had to go and update all of my functions that do use the tile type. If Godot didn't crash on me again. I'm so sad. Yeah, so I'll try to make it quick. I think it'll only take maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Put it in globals and make sure that everything that calls for these types uses globals events dot. Or I may make a new function called global variables. I don't want to have global variables, but this one definitely is one that is needed for my game. I feel like a lot of systems are going to need to know what type of tile they're working with. Yeah. No. Stop breaking, please. Here, I'll open up the It stopped hanging. Cancel. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to originally put it in global events, but global events really. I'll put it here, and then if it turns out that it should be placed somewhere else better, I'll put it there. I'll get rid of it here. Put it here. It should get. I hope that it gets mad at me, so I can go and find them. That makes it global events dot event tile type. That's what I want to see. And then I'm lazy, so I'm just gonna copy paste this name all places that it tells me it needs to be. Yep. Oh, and all of these. Okay, yep. Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. Get this done and over with as soon as possible. Oh, we're gonna go back up. Yeah, Control V because you're checking that. Where else? There we go. Control V. Yeah. Control V. Control V. There. Control V. And I'm gonna say I'll take it out of pawn, which will pretty much get rid of whatever I was using pawn for in the beginning. Or I guess I can still keep pawn because it needs it. I'm exporting this type variable that all of my pawns inherit. But other than that, like, it's not really doing much. So happy. Let's get rid of this. Control S, and let's see if it gets mad. Control V. You know what? I think this is still gonna stay mad because you can't export globals like that. Or maybe you can. I'll see if it doesn't break anything right now. Well, after I move it, check one last place that has this, which is in my world script. I'll just click it over here. It has it at the top also when it doesn't need it. Get rid of it. Are you gonna get mad somewhere? Yeah. Now, what I think is going to happen when I run it, it's gonna get mad because global events isn't instanced, or it all might work. Okay. Yep. It still works as intended. Still doing that. Can I push a box? Still pushing boxes the right way. Okay, let's go see if my player got one bug I have is that my player, when he pushes up, my player one, this is supposed to be player one, when he pushes a box, he like sits on the box and then doesn't move. I definitely deferred that bug to like another time. But it might make for a cool game mechanic. Or I'll just end up having to fix it. There we go. Works. Cool. Now we can go back into the grid. Now that I've got that all done. one, I can move on to my next goal, which is to still have the players move over to the main menu, or like technically have the players say like technically clear the board and have more buttons show up when you do hit the main menu and load the next button tiles. I'll keep putting them into a world, or after I get the main menu, I think that's my next goal, is to actually move that to like JSON files or other data files, so it's not taking up too much space in the world and like making that a huge gigantic file. And I'll just load in those JSONs. Okay, clear the board, done. When you win, or it's not when you win, it's really when you hit this new tile type called global events dot tile type dot main menu. I think I spelled it like that. Let's check globals. Main underscore menu. Real. It exists. Pass. So now I can add a new signal called oh. Signal is going to be on main menu tile. Like, you touch the main menu tile, you. Main menu tile. Well, like, go to main menu. I like that better. Go to. Like that. Yeah. And then it's going to yell at me for, because I'm not technically using it in this script. It wants me to use all my variables that I declare in the same script that I declare it. But because this is a global script and it's seen by all of my other scripts, I can definitely ignore that. I can emit signal. There's global events emit signal. Global events dot emit signal. Go to main menu, and it takes in nothing. You know who's gonna be listening into that? The whole world. It's gonna listen for that event. It's going to Control C. App Control V. Yell at me for error because it's being used. Yeah. This goal events you win it. Yeah, go to main menu. I can be lazy, and the function is going to be on go to main menu. Yeah. It is. Hello. I am. Yes. Hey, man. I'm currently streaming right now.
I've never been able to get on when you're on, but I will not interrupt you.
No.
Amazing work.
Say, check out my stream.
I will.
Thanks, man. I'll see you later.
Yeah, later. You know what?
Reload. No. Okay. On go to main menu, we're gonna load in some more. Well, load in some more. Oh, yeah, so I'm having to reload my chat because it crashed on me, so I hope I didn't miss any of your messages. Can't support channels enabled. Oop. Oof. PM me if you want to say stuff. I swear I'm listening. I'm gonna make menu. What should I do? I want to add pawns, just like this, but the tiles that I want don't exist yet, so I have to go and make them. There we go. So we'll have a start tile. It look very similar to the rest of my tiles. Prefab UI. I didn't put them in UI because they're technically objects. Very confusing. But I'll open up one of those to have as a reference for what I should be doing with these tiles. Continue tile, great. So it's a texture and a label, or a sprite and the label. So I know what sprites those are, or I thought I did. Assets, art, UI. Yeah, it's one of these, blue or green. I'll make it green. I'll double click on the green to see what it looks like. I want the raised kind of square one. Ooh. Let me get a good look at which ones I'm using. Nope. There we go. So it's like raised and it's kind of rounded on the corners, sort of. What about this one? Does that look like that? Yeah, sort of. You know what? Yeah, that's good enough. So that's the texture I want. I'm just gonna drag it over. There we go. Call it texture. Center it in the world. 0, 0. Boom. Kind of stretch it out a little bit. Oh, it's keeping its aspect. This isn't super weird. There we go. Yes. And then let's add a label to that. And I'll make it the full thing. Boop. Give it some text. Start. I like uppercase everything, and I like to see it all centered. In the middle, we'll make it black color, and I'll drag over the font. I think I'm remembering this. I shouldn't be doing it this often. I should be being lazy and like actually make a resource that I can just drag and drop and it'll do everything for me, and that is relatively quick. I guess I just haven't allocated the time and the brain power into thinking about that too much. I'm using the Kenny Vector the Future font. Drag it over, and there we go. And now I just have to remember what size they were. I can check on this one and to make sure. I also wanted to make sure that I'm on the right Z. Index 1. I'll make sure that I'm on index 1 when I go back. Size 24. How's 24 look on you? Pretty good. And then let's make sure that when I go up here to the start tile, we're on index 1. Take it off relative 1. And now I can give you your own script called start tile. We'll go ahead and put that in. We'll go ahead and put that script location in the script files. Start tile, where the rest of my tiles are. Open. Create. And instead of extending that, you're going to extend this pond.gd so that when I go back to, I can change your type, which means I have to add a new type, and this is where that global script comes in. comes into play. Let's go back to the script. Let's go to global events. We're going to add a new type of tile called start. Main menu, quit, level select, continue, start. And I think I should see it here. I may have to like close and reopen this stuff and it's for it to reappear, but cause I need to technically I need to reload the script. What happens is when you play the scene, I'm in the scripts. Not when you play the scene, but when you have the scene up in the tabs, what it does is it actually loads the scripts for like those exports, and like for if you're making any tools, it's a tool keyword and it'll reload those also. UI object create start. So let's check on it now. Nope. Where? But what I will do to reload the global quick open scene is I'll save all my scenes and I'll just go back to the project editor and reopen my project. Quit the project list. That should do it. I hope. Okay, yeah, world's the only one that's open. Prefab, UI. I keep going to UI. Maybe I should put them in UI. Start. Can I give you... Ah, see, there it is. There's probably a better way to do that, but that was the quickest way I could think of. Yeah. Okay, start tile. And what I'll what I'll do is I'll just kind of place it on the board and see what happens. Like so now I have another scene that I can have be a reference to. Start tile. Let's preload. Res. I should probably type in prefab. Man. No, it stopped liking me. I'll get it. There you go. I'm getting closer. F. Nope. I'm getting further away. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Pathing, prefab. There we go. Prefab, start tile. And I will instance it very much so like this one right here. Control C, Control V, but instead, oh, it's only 2 lines of code, my bad, not 3. So continue tile to be start. Start tile. So, the way it goes, the start of this whole process will be from this really big request move function, which is, I guess, it's just gonna contain like all of the logic for every tile, how they interact with each other, and it's mainly going to be how the player interacts with each tile. And there's a little bit of code for like how crates interact with each other too, which I should probably be checking if the crates. I should probably be checking crates, but here it comes down to like if main menu pass good. Yeah, if you hit the main menu tile, it emits a signal, and you go to main menu. The world script down there hears that and will instance and add a new pawn to the add a new pawn to the list. all. Oh, and I also have to make sure to clear the to clear. It should look very similar to how like you win. See, main menu. I have a main menu up here. I have a main menu down here too. Let's get rid of that. But I do need this. I forgot I added that. Player is chosen to go to the main menu. And right now it's returning the updated pawn position, but I need to do some other stuff too. I need you to go to the main menu. Or I need you to clear. Yeah. I need you to clear everything, so at this point the player's won, the place is already clear. We're gonna clear it again just to be safe. You hit the main menu, you're gonna clear it up. And then we will emit the signal, we'll do the things with that, and we'll update the pawn's position. I think that's it. And it's gonna place itself at the same position as the continue button. So let's kind of go through that sequence. So you win, these buttons come up. Right now, continue does nothing, but main menu, it goes to start. And what I think is good about that is, even though it was pretty instant, oh yeah, I can't touch those. Well, there we go. Well, I'll continue playing. I can't touch that because it needs to have something like this attached to it. Control V, but instead of that, it's going to be start. If I can spell. Player has chosen. The player wants to play the. Player has chosen to start the game. There, I should be able to walk over it now. I can add an animation, and now that I know that it works, I can add an animation like to go in between each thing, which I think I'll add later. It'll be for like all. It'll be like the same it'll be the same animation for all of the tiles. But boom, there. Players chosen to start the game. Now with that done, I guess I should probably like get rid of that UI too. Like those words on the screen, or change them. I should just change them. Lots of things to do. And guess I'm conflicted on what I want to do next. Do I want to fix that? Or like, I have 15 minutes. Yeah. I think I'll have the UI also listen in to each of those, and I'll have it modify itself, because right now the UI, now what I've done, because I have the buttons in the game itself working as like actual objects, my UI is just completely words or like informative. It really doesn't play that much of a role for the game other than to tell the player that they won or that they lost. But I can't think of any like good reason to have something like that except for like, hey, you plugged in your controller. I think that's really the main one right now. It's like I can let you know from in the game when you've put in a controller or disconnected a controller. I'm happy about that. But now, I think I'm going to have I'm going to have my UI also listen, Control V, for the go to main menu. And it's going to have its own function called on go to main menu. Control C. Yep. A new function down here. Oh. And what it's gonna do takes nothing. It's gonna change the word of that label, but I want to also pull up the UI to make sure I know where that label's at. So it goes panel label, and then .text is how I access the text equals Rockoban. Why don't you like this? Oh yeah, probably because it's not a string. Man. What if I put spaces in between? Oh, what if Godot decides to lock up again? And I just want it to give me back life. Give me back control. Oh, yeah, okay. That's interesting. Hitting the command, like going to the command prompt, gives me back control of the process. I should probably go check those out. I'll come back to that. Okay. Yeah. Let's run that. Let's see if when I go to the main menu, the text changes to Rockoban. Yeah. Rockoban. It sure does. But it's like all off-center now. And I need to let's go look at this invisible panel label. Make sure that it's in the center. I wonder if I can call a function that does that for me. Margins, anchor, that like recenters it. I feel like I might be able to. Or changing the text will automatically do that for me now that I click that button. You win. Nope. It still shifts it over. I need to recenter it myself via code. Hide that again. UI. What can I don't even know what I could call to do that, to be honest. But maybe the docs do. Label. Auto wrap. I don't think it has anything to do with the label itself that would allow me to do that, but with the control nodes themselves. Just properties, methods, force drag, style box, accept event, can drop data, get minimum size, has focus, minimum size change, set anchor, show module, set anchor presets, set anchors and margin presets. Those sound like shortcuts if I've ever heard one. Let's go look at those. There's here, and this is how you know this is an open source project. Not everything has a description, and I can help by contributing one, which I would like to do. I think that would. I should probably spend more time doing that and doing that. Actually, like helping other people make it through Godot, because it is a fairly new game engine, and not a lot of people like understand what kind of benefit you get from using it. But that's not what I'm here for today. I'm here for that preset center. use with set anchor preset. Set anchors preset. I'm gonna do this. Set I, yeah, panel dot label panel slash label. I know what I'm doing. I know how to type. Set anchor preset. Yes. Center. Yes. I hope this works. I hope it recenters it. Like, I'm excited to see this work. This is the first time I've used this with code. Usually I just press the button, but I'm excited to see it like all automatically like put it in the center the way I want it, and it didn't. Or did it? No, it didn't. Okay, I'm like measuring the screen. Like this over here is way too big. This isn't. Maybe, and I guess I don't want them both. What am I? Ooh. Yeah, what am I doing wrong? Nope, keep that open. Oh, it's a layout. Yeah, it's a layout preset, not an anchor preset. I believe I said.
Jesse, check out the squishy I found with help. It's a shark.
Or let me check the docs again on control nodes. Set anchor preset. Set anchor and margin preset. Margin. Man, set anchor and part. Man. Set anchors and margin preset.
What did it do?
Set anchors preset. I do it. I feel like I want to do anchors and the margins. And if not, then I'll just cry. Because there's an anchors and there's a margin.
Yeah, I mean that one's like. Let's go find one. You just jealous. You think they're cool squishy. If you can find, if you can find something cooler than a shark, that is to say a tiger.
How about we go on
Layout preset mode.
Then I will trade you.
Keep with, keep high. These are all the cool layout presets. I'm going for it. I don't have much time. I can just start randomly testing code to see if it works. Do you work? It worked. Yes. I'm happy about that. Now that's in the center, and I can bump it up later using code. And when you start, you should probably like be able to go back into the game. I think I'm gonna save that for the next time. It might get a little bit complicated. I hope not. I hope I hope I have time to spend the time to like think about how I actually want to load in those levels. I was thinking about like using JSON files, but world, like it would look, yeah. I could, like I was talking before, it would look something similar to this. You would have like what player, say what object it is or what tile it is. It's a player tile, like the name of the tile. Rather, I don't have to do the name of the tile. It's the players have names just so I can differentiate them whenever I'm debugging. Otherwise, they get a mangled name and a name mangled name, so it'll look all messed up. And for other objects like crates and rocks and holes, I really don't care what name they have. I'm not really going to be searching for those. I want them all to work the same. But the player 1 and player 2, they act differently they're being controlled by two separate controllers, and the logic for that is inside of the player controller. So I need to be able to tell which one is which. But yeah, the what it is, the type of tile that it is, the ID index is for the controllers. I need player one and player two. The Z index, again, specifically for the player, so that they appear on top of every other tile that I do put down. And the set rule of relative default Z relative defaults just gives me more control over what is on each layer instead of letting Gijo just handle that itself. I want control over that. And possibly the color, which I can use the words with. I'm happy about that. And here's where the position is for each player. And this is just an offset for them, so that they stay centered on each tile. And the same thing with these guys down here. They have a lot less going on. They're just the tile, what tile it is, and where in the world it is. And then they just have a slightly more complicated offset, an offset in the Y direction only and not in the X direction. Yeah. Yes, I have like 4 minutes left to go, and I thought it'd be a good time to go and try to comment some more code. I as I write more code, I want to like eventually catch up to where like, all my code looks like this right here. And to do that, I have to make sure that I'm bringing comments into my code. So I'll do this one right here, Control V. This is continue. Continue tile.gd for the continue tile. This is implemented for all member functions of the class called continue tile. Operations right now include, there are no like special operations for the continue, but eventually it'll resume gameplay, resuming the game after being paused. There, nothing to discuss, pretty self-explanatory. Moving on, next one. The crate, global events has one. Oh, say, do I need to do that too? The class, oh no. Yep. Class. Just make sure that all my comments are consistent. Class. And the class is continue tile. And like briefly what it does, the same thing up here, resume the game after being paused. I feel like it's really only gonna have that function, and maybe like a couple like maybe an animation, and I'll mess with the animation via code. I could have the animation play. I could have a couple animations play, yeah. While it's doing things, like when it actually comes into the scene, have an animation play, and that can be like when it starts. Anyway. More commenting. Let's go. Oh, or I guess I'm just about run out of time. What I'll do instead, the grid. The grid is a very important one that I should be giving more attention to, comment-wise. So I'll go ahead and start the comments for that. Grid. It has a couple. Like I'll finish up this commenting, and then that'll be like the end of my stream. And this one's a pretty big one, so I assume it's gonna be good. Operations include getting, say, this one, get pawn cell position. How do I pos position. Get the let's like return the to get the when given world coordinates. Yeah, I'll definitely put this position swap between global and grid position. So one of the things that I like about Godot is that it swaps between global, let's say global and local positions, and now these grid positions. It so the way that it works is this UI is in its own local position in its own or in its own local coordinate system. It works like every other coordinate system, X and Y. And whenever you add a child to that, so like this connected controller, it gets its own it gets its own local. Well, it gets added to the UI's local coordinate system, and that's how I manipulate it. So this position right here is 0576 is in within reference to this big one into the main UI node, and every other child or every other child will act that way. It will inherit the parent's coordinate system, but it'll also contain its own local. So, like for example, this panel, it's it's grabbing its coordinate system from the UI, but the label that's a child of the panel is grabbing its coordinate system from the panel. So if I move this panel over, let's say size position, if I move it over 100, the child is gonna move over 100 with it, like that. Negative 100, and it goes for any direction. It can kind of it helps when you're working in your own contained space, because now when I like export this UI into like let's say the world, I know that the UI the whole node's position starts at 0, 0, and I can move just this node wherever, and it'll move all of the other things with it. Yeah, one of the benefits of Godot, like you don't have to worry too much about where things are in position to other things when you're instancing scenes from different locations. But back to commenting, or I started these comments and I don't know if I should finish them, but there's so many. This isn't even it. Grid. I'm thinking I will finish these another time, or I won't. I won't. Actually, I have the time tonight. I'm not doing anything else, so I'll do these. This will be cool. This would be this would be a little bit longer video, but I think it's really worth it to make sure that I have some nice and neat code going on.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to make you drive like back to the spot after this.
It's literally not that far from mine.
Yeah, but like.
Oh, your eyes are doing the funky thing that my eyes do.
Crazy size.
Yeah.
Or
But if you guys want to stick around for like
there we go.
a minute and a half.
Okay.
I
Well, I
can
can stand
walk
here.
outside.
What's up? I actually have no idea what
And not tile map, but grid. It's a grid.
Yeah,
No, I'm
just
just fucking
like
done for the night.
expert college only.
Controls all movement and logic. Controls all logic.
And I don't wear it ever. I wore it for Halloween.
Logic for
And I went.
what am I calling these? For all pawns on the grid. Yeah, that's what it does. Gritty.
Do you not remember that? We were friends back then.
There we go. So get pawn cell, given wall coordinates.
For you, I blocked it.
They were asking because there was like a lull before they were judging the Halloween costumes. And they were just asking people
Oh
what
yeah.
their Halloween costumes were. Can't take this one on. They point at me and they go, "What's your costume?" And I stand up and I go, "Hi, my name is
Get
Val, and I'm
a
your worst nightmare."
pawn.
And then everyone was like, "Oh, I hate you."
How do you guys use a thingy when animating like snatch motion? Because like I'm trying to animate a ponytail and it goes down, but
World to
like it
map.
doesn't go bounce.
Get
And I'm
pawn
trying to
grid coordinate.
What I usually do is overshoot.
overshoot.
That's what
Got it. For one frame or more than
I do 1 to 2 frames. It depends on how heavy it is.
So yeah, get pawn cell positioned when given wall coordinates,
Think about the
and
like,
I can
about the
also
ponytail. Yeah, if it's just a ponytail, then it's pretty light.
so just one
get
frame is good
pawn
for the overshoot.
cell position,
Like it's like
or get the whole pawn. I think I returned the whole pawn in that one. Yeah,
That would be more of a
get
drag.
pawn
I would say 2 frames.
when
2
given.
frames down and then back up. Just have it be like 2 frames behind.
I'm good cell
If you wanted to do like 2 to 4
position.
frames, depending how many frames.
Grid position. Grid position.
It's very much
I think I'm gonna use grid position instead of cell.
trial and error. Yeah.
Guys, remember when the photo said bear rights?
Tap tap. Okay. Another function. Grow pawn. Expand a pawn's size on the board.
Show like a little drawing tutorial that's like, no, you don't understand, I'm gay.
One of my friends sent me that.
Move a pawn.
Like there's this person trying to be all wholesome.
Yeah, yeah. Here's how you draw a teddy bear. Those headphones have been there for so long, and I think they're Sam's, but because they look like Sam, but I think Sam wears these.
Move a pawn on the board. Yeah, it's not called move pawn, it's called request pawn, but
Beat by hands.
And Undertale.
Beat by your ass.
request move, clear the board.
There's this one girl that like I know her name now, but I used to not know her name, and I knew her as Sans girl because it was like when Sans was announced and like everybody was going crazy about it, and she walked over and
Update
was like,
pawn
"I'm Sans."
position.
Yeah.
What is update pawn position really doing?
That's gonna happen again
Or-
this year. I know somebody that's gonna be doing it.
Guys, for help.
I'm gonna call that an in accordance with moving the pawn on the board. I feel like the only time I'm gonna use update pawn positions when I'm moving something on the board,
What's the
and then
policy on
add a pawn to the board.
what if it's shitty plastic revolvers with a weird orange cap on them?
Or I guess it's a setter. Update pawn position set.
Or Nerf
Yeah.
gun.
Yeah, like a little nerd
People
system.
could do Nerf guns, but also people had to be like
Set a pawn's
I don't know what
pull.
at all.
I haven't painted on my Nightwing thing yet.
Yeah,
I bring
does a
whole
bunch of
ass
stuff.
revolver,
I have
I'll sell
acrylic
it possibly.
Okay, we're going.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
have fun.
I have got
fun.
to spin my guns.
You know, for the best part, if I can go find it, I think the player has it. Function. There we go. Yeah. Player. Function headers. Control C. Which look exactly. Well, I'll give them all function headers, the wrong ones, so I'm gonna have to copy paste back over and over for that. Yeah. And I can just copy these over there. Me. Lazy. I got it. I feel like I'm mastering this whole laziness thing. Get rid of that. Control V. remove Pokemon. Request move. Sounds simple, super complicated. I'll put an extra one up here. Handles most of the logic for moving things on the board. Clear. Let's see. And that pawn. Nope, wrong one. Control V. Boom. Done. Yay. Okay. That wasn't too bad. That only took me like 15 minutes. And it was this was actually the largest file that I have in this. I know that was a lot of cool code and that was kind of boring to watch. So I'm going to go back to playing my game. Okay. Good night. I should have said good night. I'll yeah, go back to kind of just playing this game. Look, you can drop those down. Then I can pick up the other controller. Teamwork. Man, push, keep pushing. Push, push. Yeah, we win. Yeah. I'm happy about that. That's all the time that I have. Say thank you for watching. I really appreciate you coming on and actually saying something that was pretty nice. I'm gonna have to go to bed soon. I have to also do a little bit of post stream work, like write my retrospective, but thank you again. I'm really happy to see that you came and saw the stream. Say I'll say good night. Good night. And I'll awkwardly log off my stream. Stop.